Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Completionist. For this episode, guys, it's long awaited, but if you actually viewed my 100 subscriber special, I basically asked each of my subscribers what game they wanted me to try to complete next, and I gave them a choice of 5 of my Super Nintendo box games, and the game that they had decided was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest for the Super Nintendo. So first of all, guys, I just want to say I'm really sorry it's taken me as long as it has, but I just finally completed it. So I'm going to show you guys how to fully complete Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Now in terms of completing this game, it's actually fairly simple. You only need to play it once. I don't think that there are any missables in the game because you can go back to any dungeon in the game. And in terms of completing this game, you just need to beat this game and grab every major spell and every major weapon throughout the game. And once you do that, you consider it completed. Now, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is kind of a love it or hate it kind of game. You have those people that absolutely love it, but then you have those people that absolutely despise it. A lot of people say it's Final Fantasy USA, Final Fantasy for idiots, Final Fantasy for dummies. Now the reason why that this game holds a special place to me is that it literally was the first RPG that I ever beat, because the first RPGs that I played as a kid were Dragon Warrior and the original Final Fantasy for the NES, and I couldn't really make much headway with that. So one of the things that I liked about Mystic Quest is that it is a beginner's RPG, but it taught me a lot of things when it came to elemental weaknesses, weapon weaknesses, things along those lines. And to be honest, guys, if any of us ever have kids, I think this would be a great RPG to show kids how to complete. So anyway, guys, let me show you how to fully complete Final Fantasy Mystic Quest for the Super Nintendo. So guys, here is Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. It is actually a fairly straightforward RPG. It shouldn't take you no longer than 10 to 20 hours to fully complete this game. Some people can even do it in less time. The storyline for Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is that the world is in peril, and it is up to you as the hero to help restore the crystals from the Dark King. You live in a world that is separated into 4 sections. Each of the sections relates to one of the 4 basic elements, which are earth, water, fire, and wind. You need to restore the power of the elemental crystals by defeating the elemental fiend of that particular section of the world. You won't be doing it alone. Even though this is an RPG in which you can only use 2 characters at a time, as you progress through the game you get to use different characters, all depending on which section of the world you're in. When going through the Earth section of the world, you get to use characters such as Kylie and Tristan. When going through the water section of the world, you get to use the character Phoebe. When going through the fire section of the world, you get to use the character Ruben. And when going through the wind section of the world, you get to use the characters Kylie, Tristan, and Ruben. Also, when traversing through the final temple, Phoebe will accompany you to defeat the final boss of the game. At the final dungeon of each elemental section of the world, you get the chance to face the elemental fiend of that section in order to restore the specified crystal. Once the fiend is defeated, the crystal is restored, and then you can move on to the next section of the world. This is the air crystal, and this is also the final crystal you need to revitalize before you can take on the final dungeon in the game. With regards to completing this game, there are 2 main things you need to do. The first thing you need to do is that you need to complete everything that the map or the overworld screen has to offer. This game does not have random encounters, and you can't move freely on the overworld map. Your path is already designated to you, but one thing you need to do in order to consider this game completed is that you need to finish all the battlefields that this map has to offer. Since the game does not have random encounters, you get to fight enemies on a battlefield. Battlefields are 10 battles that you can fight and are completely optional. If you finish all 10 battles per battlefield, you can get gold, experience, and even an item. So complete every battlefield you come across, because in order to collect every item in the game, you need to defeat the battlefields that hold items, such as this one that holds the magic ring accessory. So always keep that in mind. It may seem a little monotonous, but you need to do everything on the world map to consider it completed. The second major thing you need to do in order to complete this game is to collect every weapon, every piece of armor, every spell, and every key item. For the majority of these items, you need to open treasure chests that are scattered throughout the many dungeons and towns of this game. There are actually two types of treasure chests. You have wooden chests. Wooden chests mainly hold usable items such as refreshers, cure potions, and heal potions. The funny thing about wooden treasure chests is that if you open a wooden treasure chest in a town or dungeon and leave the town and dungeon, the wooden chest will refresh itself. At the very beginning in Foresta, you can do this to get 99 cure potions incredibly easily, as you see me do right now. Metal treasure chests are the ones that provide you with the weapons, armor, spells, and key items in the game. You can only get weapons, spells, and armor for just your main character and not your secondary character. Metal treasure chests can only be opened once, and every dungeon has at least one of them. So definitely keep an eye out for them at all times. With regards to your weapons, I'm going to tell you where to find each of your weapons. Starting off with the steel sword. You automatically have this weapon at the very beginning of the game. Then you have the knight sword. You get this weapon in the ice pyramid. And then you have the Excalibur, and you get this weapon in Pazuzu's tower. With regards to the axes, you have the basic axe, in which Kylie gives you this weapon after she is poisoned by the Minotaur. And then you have the battle axe, and you can buy this weapon in Fireburg. And then you have the giant axe, and you can get the giant axe in the Alive Forest. Then we have the claws. The first claw we have is the cat claw, and Phoebe automatically gives you this weapon in the Wintry Cave. Then you have the charm claw. You can get the charm claw at the mine, and then you have the dragon claw, and Tristan will give you this weapon at Spencer's place. With regards to the bombs, you have the basic bomb, and Tristan will give you this weapon in the Bone Dungeon. Then you have the jumbo bomb, in which Phoebe will give you this weapon after you defeat the snow crab in the Falls Basin. And then you have the mega grenade. This weapon is found in Fireburg when you talk to a friend of Ruben's dad. With regards to the armor, I'm going to tell you where to find each piece of armor. And we'll start off with the steel helm. You can buy this helm in Aquaria. Then we have the moon helm, and you can find this helm in the Lava Dome. Then we have the Apollo helm, and you can find this helm at Mount Gale. Then we have the different pieces of armor. You have the steel armor, and you automatically have this piece of armor at the very beginning of the game. Then you have the noble armor, and you can find this armor in the Ice Pyramid. And then you have Gaia's armor, and you can find this armor on Mac's ship. Then we have the shields. The first shield is the steel shield, and you can get this shield in the Bone Dungeon. Then we have the Venus shield, and you can get this shield in the Focus Tower after you defeat the Ice Golem. And then we have the Aegis shield, and you can get this shield when you go to the Focus Tower in order to face the last dungeon in the game. Then we have the accessories. The first accessory is the charm, and you can get this item by defeating one of the battlefields in the Earth region. Then we have the magic ring, and you can get this item by defeating one of the battlefields in the water region. And then you have the Cupid locket, and you can buy this item in the town of Windia. With regards to the spells, I'm going to show you how to find each of the spells. Starting off with the white magic. First we have Exit. And you can get this spell by defeating one of the battlefields in the water section of the world after you defeat the Ice Golem. Then we have the Cure spell, and you can find this spell in Foresta. Then we have the Heal spell, and you can get this spell in the Falls Basin. And then we have the Life spell, and you can get the Life spell in the Lava Dome. Now with regards to black magic, we have Quake, and this spell is located in the Bone Dungeon. Then we have Blizzard, and this spell is located in the Focus Tower after you defeat the Ice Golem. Then we have the Fire spell, and the Fire spell is located in the Focus Tower after you defeat the Flamosaurus Rex. And then we have the Arrow spell, and this spell is located at the very bottom of the Focus Tower just before you go to the Rope Bridge. And then we have Wizard magic, and starting off we have the Thunder spell, and you can find this spell by defeating one of the battlefields in the Fire region of the world. Then we have the White spell, and you can find this spell in the Volcano. Then we have the Meteor spell, and you can find this spell inside the Giant Tree. And then we have the Flare spell, and you can find this spell in Pazuzu's Tower. Now with regards to items, this is how you get every item in the game. First we have our usable items, which are Cure Potions, Heal Potions, Refreshers, and Seeds. And these usable items are found in dungeons and are also found in towns. Then we have the key items. First we have the Elixir, and Tristan will give you the Elixir once you beat the Flamosaurus Rex in the Bone Dungeon. Then we have the Tree Wither, and this is given to you at the very beginning of the game. Then you have the Wake Water, and you get this at the Life Temple when you beat the Wintry Cave. And then you have the Venus Key, and you get the Venus Key by going to Spencer's place, and when you speak to Spencer for the first time, he'll give you this key. Then we have the Multi-Key, and you get the Multi-Key in Fireburg. Then we have the Mask, and this item is found in the Volcano. Then we have the Magic Mirror, and this item is found in the Ice Pyramid. And then we have the Thunder Rock, and you get the Thunder Rock in Fireburg after you beat Pazuzu. Then we have the Captain Cap, and Kylie will give you the Captain Cap once you free up Mac's ship. Then we have the Libra Crest, and this item is located in the Wintry Cave. Then we have the Gemini Crest. This item is located in one of the battlefields before you reach the town of Fireburg. And then we have the Mobius Crest, and this item is located in Spencer's place once you free up Mac's ship. And then we have the coins. We have the Sand Coin, and you get this item when you defeat the Fiend of the Earth. And then we have the River Coin, and you get this item when you defeat the Fiend of the Water. Then we have the Sun Coin, and you get this item when you defeat the Fiend of the Fire. And then you get the Sky Coin, and you get this item when you defeat the Fiend of the Air. When it comes to defeating the final boss of Mystic Quest, he is known as the Dark King. You can take the basic approach when beating him, and that is to throw your most powerful attacks and spells at this boss. However, there is a much easier way to take care of this boss. One thing you need to know is that this boss is an undead creature, and in Final Fantasy games, what do we do against undead creatures? Normally, we throw Phoenix Downs at it. However, if you use the Cure spell like you see me do right now, you can do damage upwards to over 10,000 damage. This boss does have 4 forms, but it will only take a few casts of the Cure spell to bring him down for good. With the Dark King defeated, and if you have defeated every battlefield and collected every permanent item, then you know you have fully completed Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. So there we have it, guys. We have now successfully fully completed Final Fantasy Mystic Quest for the Super Nintendo. As I said before, guys, it's not a terribly difficult RPG to complete, and you can honestly complete it in anywhere from 10 to 20 hours, and some people can even beat it faster than that. Just remember, in order to consider this game fully completed, you need to finish every battle map and every dungeon that this game has to offer. You have to open up every major treasure chest, which is going to contain the spells, the weapons, and the armor that this game has to offer as well. And you need to make sure that you collect every story element item that this game has to offer. So guys, one other thing I had mentioned during my 100 subscriber special is that the people who had voted for this game, I would give their channel a shout out. So check the description box below this video and definitely check out these channels and give these guys your support. So guys, if for any apparent reason, if you do like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest for the Super Nintendo, other games I can recommend are Final Fantasy II, otherwise known as Final Fantasy IV for the Super Nintendo, and my personal favorite Final Fantasy game of all time, which is Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo, otherwise known as Final Fantasy VI. And this is my favorite Final Fantasy game out of the entire series. So anyway guys, that takes care of another episode of The Completionist. So take care, and I wish you nothing but the best. Later.